The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ told us that whoever builds a mosque for Allah, Allah will build for him a similar house in Jannah. And we know the great reward that will not only be gained, but rather will fill your grave after your death. Whenever someone prays there, whenever someone gives shahada in the masjid, whenever someone learns something in the masjid, yes, that will be something that you'll have on your scale.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys doing? I recently watched a video with Piers Morgan, 𝙤𝙤𝙪𝙞𝙤, and one uncivilized, uneducated, ill-bred, uncouth, whose only qualification seems to be his association with, or his being the son of, the co-founder of the very organization he despises the most, Hamas. And that is a pathetic irony. But what is even more pathetic is what we're about to witness. Let's take a look at him try and articulate himself in the English language.
Listen, it's Israel's responsibility to know the death of their own citizens. This is their responsibility. I think your question was absurd. This is why you put him on the spot. He was not prepared for it. But this is not going to change the reality on the ground. The reality on the ground, Hamas must go. The only side want Hamas to stay is the Iranian Ayatollah, and for some stupid reason, Karen in America wants Hamas to stay. But the Arab world, let me tell you something, Jordan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the majority of the Arab world, we are Arabs. I am Arab. We are not Palestinians. We don't want Hamas. We don't want Islam. We want Islamists out of power.
Okay.
It's as simple as that.
All right.
So you can see with this man's articulation that English language is not his strong suit. Neither is logic, neither is presenting facts. Because everything he's said can be dismissed. Because that which can be presented without evidence can be rejected without evidence. And he's made a series of points which are assertions requiring statistical evidence. Of course, he's not a man of evidence or a man of education. As I've mentioned, he's an ill-bred uncouth, without a qualification to his name. But to the rescue comes 𝙤𝙤𝙪𝙞𝙤. Let's take a look at how she responds to the questions of Piers Morgan.
Because Israel's been committing ethnic cleansing and genocidal policies against the Palestinians for 70
But Hamas literally has a charter. Yeah, but Abby, hang on. Hamas literally has a stated charter of the elimination of Israel. That is the purest personification of a publicly stated policy of genocide
that's not
I can
true,
imagine.
That's not true. Their revised charter says that they actually recognize the existence of the Israeli state among 1967 borders. That's the revised charter, and they actually make a political differentiation between Zionism and Judaism.
So
that's
when
the
their
actual
official
charter of
spokesman,
Hamas. So you keep pointing to a random spokesperson. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not a random. He's the official spokesman for Hamas. And he said literally 2 weeks after October the 7th, we are going to do this again and again and again. That is an existential genocidal threat to the existence of everyone in Israel. Clearly. Said publicly on camera. He's brazen about it.
Look, I think that when you're comparing one guy and his statement to literally dozens of genocidal statements. Okay, but look at the official spokespeople of Israel, Piers, and look at the actual genocide they're committing. You cannot compare the two. It's a complete false equivalency. One guy is saying one thing, the other dozens of Israeli ministers and cabinet officials and public media personas on TV are saying one thing and actually doing it on the ground.
You would allow Hamas to stay in power?
Now that was a very elegant, an exceptional and impressive performance by a woman who's been put under pressure, yes, by Piers Morgan to a lesser extent, but more so by this uncouth, this uncivilized uncouth. And unfortunately, this embarrassment to the Arabs, this Abu Jahl, this father of ignorance individual, had to be put in his place in a very fine and elegant manner. You see, the difference between the two presentations was, aside from the English language proficiency, on the side of the latter presentation compared to the former presentation, is that 𝙤𝙤𝙪𝙞 actually cites evidence. And that's what made Piers Morgan dumbfounded. And this is what he does. I mean, when he's caught out on a point, he just stays there in silence And he just kind of looks a little bit embarrassed, as he did when he was scrambling for words in the historic discussion with myself. But that's something else. I'm very happy and proud that we have Westerners here in the Anglosphere who are able to present the case, the pro-Palestine case, and it does give us hope in humanity. And it does show you that this case is not just for Muslims or for Arabs or for Palestinians. That you can be a conservative, you can be a liberal, you can be whatever you are, and still accept that this, what we're witnessing, is a genocide and it's a Holocaust by missiles. And that the invasion of Rafah is just one chapter in this long 70-year story of injustice and oppression. Absolute injustice and oppression. So what we do is we thank everybody, including Abby Martin and everybody else, like herself, who's got the bravery, really, to speak about this case in the way that they're speaking about it and putting people like this treacherous clown to shame. And one thing I will say to those proponents of the West or the Zionist movement who want to take this man who's a traitor to his people, to the Arabs, to the Muslims, to the Palestinians, to humanity, yes, you want to take him as an ally to give you your secrets and this and that and whatever, is that a leopard never changes his spots. And treachery is one of those ingrained characteristics. If you know that this woman has cheated on her ex-husband, then you'd be a fool to marry her. Because a leopard never changes his spots. And a weasel like this Mossad will never be able to change his russet brown back and creamy white throat and belly. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hey you, are you wasting your time on social media again? Your brothers and sisters in Islam Net from Norway are establishing a masjid, a dawah center. Establishing a masjid to convey the message of Islam is one of the best deeds a Muslim can do. There's a huge need for it in Norway. You know this and I know this. So that makes the reward even greater. So give generously and Allah Azza wa Jal will give you even more.